A day after Christmas is here, and at the top charts, we see MetaQuest, the app, on #1. And I see people sharing this so much on Twitter. Everybody's going wild and bonkers. This is the year of VR. VR is taking over. I get it. Yada, yada, yada. I get it. This is insanely cool to see. This is what VR does great, though. I mean, shout out to Meta, because I mean, they're putting like a lot in marketing. They're the standalone. They're the mainstream headset, of course. Now, here's what they do well, or VR in totality, right? We're great at getting people short term. The VR doesn't have an issue with that nowadays, which is great, which is a huge step forward in totality, right? One, it's affordable now. Two, we could actually get people there now. Now the third part is the hardest part, is keeping people there. And where's the respect and the credibility that VR does have in order to try to mainstream and hold people for the forefront, and then like longevity wise in terms of playing games, social experiences, whatever it may be, right? Because at first there was a lot more free games that were very quality. Now VR doesn't have, I mean, there's still a lot of free games, of course, but I'm talking back when like Battle Talent, Pavlov Shack, yeah, I would say those are the top ones right now, right? Let's just keep it at those, right? Battle Talent, Pavlov Shack, a few others that were free went, now you got to pay, but Population 1 now is free to play in X8, so those are stuff that are holding ground. Now, the thing is, there's no real replayability unless you want to be talking about like Asgard's Wrath 2 maybe, but in terms of that, Resident Evil 4 OG probably, people, one, we know that a lot of people got a Quest for Christmas, right? It's exotic, it's cool, it's a sleek appeal, it's the cool thing on the block. But why doesn't it attain its audience for longer than a few weeks, right? And I'm one of those sometimes, you know, like I try to step back from not being just a creator, but I look at the general standpoint of why are people not staying in VR? And I'm one of those. When I bought a Quest 3, I've rarely used it, only if it's like really good situations, like Asgard's Wrath 2, the update. I didn't do the initial one, although I got it for free. I still didn't jump into it because I already know how VR is. I've been covering VR for years now, and I know how they are. They will enlighten everything. We are one of the most overhyped type people, and I say we because I'm speaking collectively as VR because I've been covering VR. We hype the product so much, and we always have all these gimmicks and all these things to try to bring people in. But for some reason, people just don't stay that long. Right now, the app being at #1 means a lot of people got this for Christmas. It's literally a day after Christmas, and it was #1 since like Christmas Eve, I think. So a lot of people got a Quest for Christmas. This app is being downloaded like crazy. The only reason why people are downloading the app, of course, is because you have to use it to integrate it with a Quest. The thing is, how long will this be a #1, and how long are people going to be using this Quest for replayability? Now, again, this is great news. I hope people can't stay though. This is a short-term takeover, right? This isn't a say all be all type situation now, because once you start finding out the repetitiveness of VR and sometimes the lazy aspects of VR, meaning let's overhype, let's charge you for a one and done game, possibly overcharge you, and that's about it. We'll take off. We'll call it a day. Well, that's the bad thing about VR. There's a lot of one and done game. Unless you want to play Ghost of Tabor, or you want to play Asgard's Wrath 2 now, and then later down the line, Contractor Showdown. There's not really a lot of games that are going to keep you coming back for more. Again, Contractor Showdown, I say because it's Battle Royale. So if you're just in Battle Royale, you're probably playing Population 1 so much already that I don't really have to mention that, because Population 1 players are legit, especially if you're solid at the game, they're legit playing that game over and over and over because it is good for what it is. It's a battle royale, it's a Fortnite in VR, and that's what Contractor Showdown will be. That's a game that can probably hold this type of audience to bring them back. Again, one thing I don't know if the mixed reality is actually bringing people in terms of holding them there. Again, they're here, they've arrived, but it's up to us now, like, to recommend things, and up to us now to let people know, like, hey, welcome to VR, but here's what you need to do substantially if you want to keep yourself occupied in VR, right? Try out the social apps, Try out the hand tracking, utilize the mixed reality. Don't go straight for just gaming, because a lot of the gaming is technically all the same. Unless you're playing like Asgard's Wrath 2. You got like Dungeons of Eternity that's really good. The Quest OG Resident Evil 4 version. You got a couple of other FPS games that you will like, but again, FPS is very common in VR. It's probably one of the first things because you're already in that view. And then when you count the debacle that we had with Asgard's Wrath 2, it releasing a Quest 2 version versus a Quest 3 first. So it those are things that might really kind of like steer this audience away that we have right now. And this is cool. It's so awesome as I look at it and I see Quest as a ranked number 1. I'm like, finally. But what is the actual standard, or what is the minimal requirement to hold these people in VR? Not literally, but at least for them to, the way we would turn on a console every day. Like, how would somebody want to just put on the VR headset, the Quest, and want to play games daily as if it's just a regular, ordinary day? And I feel for me, one of it would be like the limitations of the friction, putting on the headset, doing what you need to do. Now, if you're not streaming or if you're not really creating or anything, I think it's a lot easier to just throw on the headset these days and just play. It's a lot easier than the first Quest for sure, and definitely faster than the Quest 2 now. It gets rolling really quickly, so that's good for people. If you're new to VR and you bought a Quest 3, then that's perfect because everything's a lot, it's sleeker, it's faster. Like the UI is better, like everything's like far more friendly, entry level aspects, and they introduce a lot more of the social narratives of VR with Quest 3. If they got a Quest 2, that's good. That means you possibly bought it on massive sale and you're looking for something else that just look kind of cool, exotic, and you want to try something new. In VR is a great way to try it. Now, for your first few weeks, VR is gonna be so fun. Again, these are the people, like that app is number 1. That means people are really playing this Quest for Christmas for sure, and maybe a little bit others outward, probably due to the word or due to great marketing. I would advise, at least in my opinion, playing a great immersive game and definitely playing like a fast-paced, respectable game. So like immersive game, Asgard's Wrath, respectable game like Ghost of Tabor, or maybe like Contractors, something that can get you like really, it just depends on who you are though. Beat Saber is really good, as much as people are wanting knocking like Beat Saber and stuff. These are games I think that can represent in hindsight what virtual reality should be, at least the credible sources of VR. The reason being, I personally would love more eyes on VR because that helps out our content, that helps out the inspiration in us wanting to create more, and I think that that's always like some of the best things to do in VR. But yeah, y'all have to be letting me know what's up. I just mentioned tons of things, tons of subjective notions of why this app would be number 1. Obviously Christmas, but how does it stay number 1? That's the question to end off with. That's something to think about. What questions do we ask now to end as number 1, to stay as number 1, or at least top 5 in these apps? And that's going to be the question. Everybody's ramping about it. Everybody's going wild right now, and I'm excited to, trust me. I don't know if this happened last year though. I think it did for the Quest. I mean, not last year, but when the Quest 2 released, I think, because it released in October, and I think they kind of had a spike up in app stuff downloading. But now for sure it's very clear. But y'all gotta be letting me know what's up, man. What y'all think about that? Are these people gonna stay? Is this just a fluke? Is it just a few weeks? Is it just because due to Christmas real quick? Are they gonna get bored of VR fast, or do you think a lot of these people are actually gonna enjoy VR, man? I think it'll be a half and half. I think people will get bored pretty quickly, or just really call the gimmicky side of VR. But then I think there will be people that will stay, because I was a person that tried this early on, and I stuck around. There's people that stick around to this day. So y'all gotta let me know what's up, man. I appreciate y'all. Peace.